So if you guys remember, about a month ago, I did an update on this tank, and I think about the same amount of time, maybe like a week later, we did me replanting this tank. And if you don't remember, this tank was planted before, and the reason we even took out the plants the first time because I had to turn the light off for a month, and there's a reasoning for that. And the plants end up just dying off because when you don't have light, the plants, that's kind of what happens. The Nubius actually stayed alive, but everything else died out and was causing ammonia, a spike. So I just ripped them all out. I did a live stream on that months and months ago. But then we basically just had the rocks and sand all over again. And then now, I basically decided to replant. Obviously, this year I will be going into a different house, so these tanks will have to get tear down again. But I thought, except this is kind of last year, that just have a little fun and replant this tank. I basically did trimmings from the 20 gallon and just put what I could get in here. And so let's kind of talk about this. This is basically a very similar setup to what I had now. I mean, back in the past, how I had it planted. The only difference is I didn't have these plants. These are totally different plants. I actually didn't have nothing in the back, so I did have some Java fern on each side, but it's pretty similar. So what is similar is that we did have an S-repping group. It was actually fully grown up. It was really tall. Like, it was probably up to this rock right here. Really, like, I think it was like 4 or 5 inch tall S-reppins in the front. Kind of like in this tank. I just did a trimming on this, but see how nice this bush. It's not so much a carpet. I call it kind of just a bush, which is how I like to grow my S-reppins. I don't really like using it as a carpet plant, so I kind of do this effect, which to me personally, I think that looks really cool, and especially how I have it in this tank, how it wraps around the rock. I think that turned out really well and exactly how I planned it. But in this tank, we had to replant it, and this was actually more of an experiment because I didn't know how well trimmings from an S-reppin would work, just because there's no roots and it's kind of hard. So I really buried them, and now they're actually finally popping up and having more leaves. So let's see if we can focus here. So these were actually really tiny, and there's actually multiple leaves growing. This one's super tall because this one is actually pretty tall when I first planted it, so that's why this one's so tall. But the rest of these, you can see how they're starting to grow. So I don't know how big they're gonna get by the time I rip this tank apart, but I'm assuming they're probably gonna actually look pretty good by the time this tears apart. But we'll just leave it there. Again, this is just all for fun until this tank has to get tear down again. When we have to redo the tank, that's gonna be kind of hard because I don't know. It'll probably be bare again, and then we'll probably do something similar. We'll drop the camera here, but we'll do something similar. But eventually this tank's gonna get replaced. This will be the next tank that gets replaced after I set up the 30 long that I eventually want to do with the Shurdente puffer. But we'll do that tank, and then my next plan is this tank when I get money, because I plan to replace it with a nice like 60 gallon rimless tank. We might do like 44. There's a 44 gallon that I'm looking at, so that might potentially work. It's only gonna be a little bit bigger than what this tank is, like 5 gallons bigger. So I don't know, but I'd like to do maybe 50 to 60 if we can. But if not, still gonna be an upgrade nonetheless. But besides that, so we get our S-reppins. We still have the original Anubias from this tank that's still growing. You can see this is a new leaf right here. That's why it's yellow. This just grew in just a couple days ago. But you can see it's attached to the rocks, and you can see the roots going down in the sand, which is what you want. It's how I have my Anubias in my 20 gallon. You get it planted, and when the Nubius attach itself, and then you allow the roots to get long enough to plant itself into the substrate, because you want the ribosome obviously above the surface, and so that's how your Nubius will really start taking off when it finally hits that substrate. It'll really start getting a lot of nutrients. But back here we do have a piece of Java fern. I actually put it over here, and then the Plecto, as always, likes to knock stuff over, so it's just sitting there. I don't mind it. If it actually does end up rooting right there, so be it. It actually doesn't look that bad. And And then also we have Bakua back here. It's not doing the best. I mean, as you can see, there's some spots, but it is alive and it is growing. And if you look at the last update, this Bakuba is like down to here. So this thing grew super tall already. It's already it's actually taller than the one I have in the 20 gallon. See the Programi sneaking up. But then we planted some more over here, but you could see how tall that is. That's a good 9 to 10 inches. Then also we have some more jaw fern hidden in the back over there. That was actually purposely planted by me. Trying to mix it up a little bit. That's a really good looking stem. But yeah, I mean, that's all I gotta really say about on the plants, at least an update. Did a water change, so the tank don't look so bad on camera, but this light, I hate this. I mean, this light's good, but at the same time, see this fog? That's not the tank, it's the light. See, if I take the light away, see how that fog goes away? It's just the light. But if you go down here and see how clear it is now, it's just something about that light just gives a weird glow. But obviously you can see on this side it's really nice and clear. Did a real deep cleaning on these filters. I try not to do it so often. I usually do it about once a month, but these filters really get gummed up, and so I do a deep cleaning. I try to not clean the filter media too, because, you know, bacteria bloom, but I cleaned up all the filters, and so they're looking really, you know, looking brand new. And clean the impellers, because this one was actually stopping in the middle of the night because the impeller was getting so mucked up. So clean it out, so now all the filters are nice and happy. And yeah, still need to fix this here or replace it somehow, because it currently does not work. I'm assuming I need to check the temperature, because it's staying at room temperature even though the heater's on. So I think something happened to the heater. But see all the fish. But see, I don't want to make this video any longer than it has to be, but that's just a little update for people that actually care. But you know, for a little sneak peek, here's the tank, looking really nice. I'll do a separate update. Actually, the next video might be an update just on this tank again. And as you can see, the carpet's really grown in, so I definitely need to do an update on this tank. Fresh water change. So this tank looks so much better than that tank. It just, you could definitely tell the difference when you actually have a true planted tank that actually has like good quality equipment, and it's also 10 times more expensive, but looks also 10 times better. So it kind of pays off for itself. But you know, still just rocking an auto sinkless in here, doing just well. I actually really like this tank how it is. But other than that, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next time.